Good morning, everybody. Happy 2026. Our first show of the new year, our first show in the 12th year of the show. Imagine that, 2026. Crazy, right? How was everyone's holiday? Personally, I'm glad it's over. That's my feeling. Today's one of those days where I'm just showing up because I said I would. Yeah. Winter is not my favorite, and winter in Vermont is not my favorite. It's like 7 degrees here. It makes it a little hard to take. So how is everybody? Check in. Let me know how you are. How were your holidays? What's happening out there? I wanted to talk this morning about, usually at this time of the year, everybody's like, oh, they make crazy lists of goals or all the things that they want to do, and they list it all out for the year, and they're consistent for about, I don't know, a month, maybe 2 months, and then it usually falls apart. So I wanted to talk about how that can be avoided and how we can be a little kinder to ourselves and think about, monthly goals versus annual goals, and thinking about what kind of habits turn us into a person that makes our goals come to fruition. And what it takes to change, really, because change is hard. And I feel like, there's all these memes and all this stuff, and it's like, it's all out there and it's very positive, which is good. And, it, it's not always easy, right? Sometimes it's really difficult. This is my son texting me. I'm sorry. It's hard. It's hard to change. It's hard to be a different person. It's hard when it's, especially in winter, like if you live in a place where it's cold and it's snowing and it's still dark at 7 o'clock in the morning and all the things, right? So making an actionable plan for yourself, something that is doable, starting small, right? And getting yourself simple wins so that you can catch momentum is often a really good way to start into a new year, where maybe you have a lot of big aspirations and you have a lot of changes, that you want to see yourself make, et cetera, et cetera. So a great way to do that is, start with small actionable things, like what are you going to get done in January? What's that going to look like? And what are the action steps that are going to make that happen? One of the things that I think is really important, we talk about this a lot, is bookending your days. And what I mean by that is having some kind of a protocol that when you wake up in the morning, you are taking time for yourself and you are being really intentional about planning for your day, what you want to see happen. Maybe you're taking some prayer time or some meditation time or some exercise time. You're taking time to set yourself up for success for the day. And then you're doing that same thing at night. Otherwise, what happens to us is we're just like pinging throughout the day because we haven't made any solid intention for what we want to see happen, and we are not completing the day with a sense of peace. We are just reacting to the stimuli that's hitting us all day long. That's one of the biggest things. I'm an executive coach and also a business consultant and a strategist. And so no matter whether it's a professional person that is my client or whether it's a small business owner, where they are losing it and being inconsistent is in bookending their days. And so that's one of the first places that we begin the work together. Because if you don't have a sense of personal peace, you really can't go forward and produce the results that you want, right? Because your power comes from your peace. So, for instance, if you wake up and you just put your feet on the floor and you grab the phone and you start like looking at email, or you start, scrolling social media, or what, you're at effect of everything that's coming into your mind, versus taking that time to set your intention for how you want your day to go, and set your own energy up for the day. And once you are in a good space, then you're ready to receive the stimuli for the day, right? Whatever it is, chaotic, euphoric, whatever the case may be. Happy New Year, guys. People are starting to realize I'm live. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning, Janet, Mary, Beth, everyone. So I feel like I want this to be the year of small wins for people, because small, consistent wins are the things that add up to big, huge changes as we go along in time. And I feel like, when we start a new year, everyone gets this whole like I said at the beginning, you get a whole thing going. You want to do all these things. I want to make all these things happen. And then you get 1 month, 2 months in, and, you have a bad day. You don't go to the gym. And then you're like, well, I didn't go yesterday, so I'm not going to go today. And then a lot of life goes up and down because of lack of consistency. So rather than encouraging you guys to, make these big, huge, crazy lists, I'm encouraging the small wins. And we actually have a monthly goals group inside my free community, which I do once a month, which there's no charge. You just have to get inside the free school community. And you can do that by visiting unbreakablewisdom.com. Also, the workbook is still up there for the time being as a free download. So you can grab that too if you're still working on planning out your 2026. And in that goals group, every month people are setting their intentions. And then, when we meet again the following month, we're checking in with each other, supporting each other, and all the things. So that's a free way for you to be a part of a community. It's one of the things that I just provide for people that follow me and watch the show. And I keep a pretty close eye on who's participating and who isn't. So if you come into the community, we want you to participate and be a part of forwarding the action there. Otherwise, we'll dump you right out. Small wins. And lots of times it seems like that isn't enough, right? Like, okay, for instance, if you're just trying to drink 8 glasses of water a day every day, and that's going to be your small win for January, right? And you do that, your mind will try to tell you you're a loser, because what kind of a goal is that? Like, that's not enough. That's not big enough. What's wrong with you? The truth is, though, if you haven't been drinking enough water, let's say for all of 2025, and it's affecting your health and your effectiveness as a human being, drinking 8 glasses of water or more consistently every day for the whole month of January, like, that's a big win. Take the win. I feel like in general, we have to be kinder to ourselves while still pushing ourselves along, right? We don't want to let ourselves off the hook or get off the path of personal growth or let ourselves get a free pass. However, when we beat ourselves up for all of whatever we're not doing, like, what the F good is that? We're not helping anything. We're just making ourselves feel worse, right? For instance, we'll use me as an example. I have a trainer that programs for me online, and I pay him every month to do that. And I have not followed my training program for the better part of 3 weeks. However, I have been consistently on the treadmill for 30 minutes and doing mobility and stretching stuff consistently over the last, 4 or 5 days. Got back on track kind of after Christmas. So, instead of making myself wrong for not doing my full program, I'm being kinder to myself and taking the win, right? At least I'm doing something. So that's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm not giving myself a free pass to do nothing. Um, we're recovering from some like seeming cold thing that visited us on Christmas Eve. So it's been sort of a bitch of the last 7 days or so. So instead of, beating myself up and making myself wrong and telling myself I'm a loser and what kind of a good example am I setting and all the things that I am so critical of myself, by the way. We teach best what we most need to learn, right? Take the small win. And don't take the small win like that's good enough. Take the small win like, yay, me, I I accomplished something, I did something, I checked the box, and now use that as the foundation to move on and, keep forwarding the action. Really, the way like the world is kind of set up for us right now is like we're beating the shit out of ourselves if we're not like in all these little, lanes and pushing our do believe me, I've spent 57 years pushing myself to get results and I'm really good at it. What I'm not so good at is giving myself grace. And so I really want to be teaching that this year to all of you while I'm visiting that for myself. Because if we look at the way that things really work, it's based on our emotion, how we feel is our set point, right? We talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. So how I feel is what I'm pulling to me. So if I'm beating myself up and I feel like I'm a loser and I feel like a piece of shit and I'm running a whole number on myself about all the ways that I am not measuring up to my high standards for myself, then I'm walking around feeling kind of shitty. Or if I'm living in fear and doubt and anxiety because of all the things that I want to create that have not yet made manifest. You see where I'm going with this, right? Like, we have to be able to elevate how we feel. And in order to do that, we got to give ourselves some grace. And I don't want to say like good enough is good enough because that breeds complacency. What I want to say is acknowledge where it's at right now and acknowledge the wins that are present there. And then use that as food to move forward and keep going. Because what we want to do is we set the bar so high and then we inevitably don't hit the bar or we don't hit it consistently. And then we feel bad and wrong and shitty and all the things. So we are constantly in this thing. We're either euphoric because we hit the bar or we feel like shit because we didn't hit the bar. And it goes like this. Okay? Beth is saying it's counterproductive when we're overly hard on ourselves. Correct. Now, there's a fine line between good enough is good enough, which is complacent, and I'm on the bus and I'm moving forward and I'm winning and I'm going to take the small wins and I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep looking for ways to improve myself. Versus good enough is good enough. F it. I'm done. I'm not pushing myself anymore. Like, I'm just going to sit here on the sofa and binge watch shit. Have grace for yourself. Be kinder to yourself. And look for the small wins and celebrate that. Something that I recognized, about Christmas this year we didn't do a lot on purpose for a lot of different reasons, none of which I'm going to share here. But we did not do we had some things happen, and there was just like we didn't do presents, and we didn't do all the things this year. And Christmas really sort of came and went and was uneventful. And the same thing with Thanksgiving. We didn't make a big deal out of Thanksgiving either. This was a transition year for me. So, economics have been up and down, and we just made a decision that we were gonna, kind of hold tight and not go. We usually go all out for holidays. Like it's a big effing deal around here. And we didn't do that this year. And I will never do that again. Because what I recognized is, when we don't make the concerted effort to be celebratory, that it just passes as if it's not really different from any other day. So it was good to see that, because my family, my grandmother always taught me to celebrate the shit out of everything. This woman had a party for everything. If it was St. Patrick's Day, we had a party. It was the Super Bowl, we had a party. It was Valentine's Day, we had a party. She celebrated everything and made a huge deal out of it. And so I've done that most of my life. And then I didn't this year, and I'm not a fan. And what I recognize and want to share is that, we're the ones that are making it up. Like truly, you're making it up. The Christmas, the Thanksgiving, the Easter, whatever it is, it'll be a grand celebration, or it'll pass like any other day. And that will be based on what you decide and what you do. And it's the same thing for your life. Your big victory for drinking the water for 30 solid days can be a huge celebration, or it can just be not enough, and you have to do better. You see, celebration, acknowledgement brings gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation are a very high state of being. And those emotions and feelings attract better things for us and to us. So it all works together. When you give yourself grace and you're celebrating your small wins, you're appreciating yourself and appreciating how far you've come and the work that you're doing on yourself. And that brings you better circumstances, and honestly makes the next piece of work easier to do. It's easier to move forward off an acknowledgement and appreciation or a celebration than it is to move forward off of making yourself wrong. We spend a lot of time beating ourselves up. We spend a lot of time measuring ourselves against whatever the hell you're measuring yourself against. And then whatever that is, you are not measuring up, right? Because you keep holding yourself up against whatever people you see on social media, your parents, your friends, your coworkers, whatever it is. When are you going to be okay how you are? When are you going to love and celebrate yourself for where you are right now, how you are right now? Not that we don't have a plan for personal growth, right? We're going to talk about this in January, as we always do, because if you don't have a plan for personal growth isn't going to happen. It's not just going to fall out of the sky on your head. So you have to be intentional about that. When are you going to love yourself enough to celebrate where you are in the moment, even when you think that you could be doing better? When are you going to cheer yourself on like you would cheer on your best friend or your kid? When do you get to be the cheerleader of your own life. When will you do that? When will you have enough grace for yourself that you will celebrate every day the small wins that are in there? Because every day there's some small win somewhere. There's something to be grateful for. There's something to celebrate. There's something good in every single day. And when do we wake up looking for that? When do we wake up instead of thinking about, oh my God, what we need to do, or oh my God, the money that we don't have, like, oh. When do we wake up and go, oh, I'm so excited to be up, awake. Oh, yay. When do we wake up like that? It's a great question to live in for the week. When do we stop waiting for someday, one day? When is today the day? When is today the day that we're satisfied, grateful, and appreciative of where we are right now in this moment? And we are using that as the food and energy to move forward. When are we going to stop waking up in like this lack mentality of all the things that we are not, and all the things that we do not have, and all the things that we still want to get, and all the things that we still want to manifest, and when would we wake up just happy to be alive, and happy for the opportunity that the day is, and happy for the opportunity to get a small win, and happy for the opportunity to look for the possibility? It's work to be happy, by the way. It's not like people wait, like, oh, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get this car. I'll be happy when I get this job. I'll be happy when this kid stops bothering me. I'll be happy when I get out of this marriage. I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds. No, no. You could be happy right now. You could be happy right here, right now. You could be happy just because you're happy. See, you have to embody what you want. You have to feel into what you want so that you can bring it into being. It doesn't work the other way around. The miracles don't come after. The miracles come because we start to feel like the miracles are here. Like we get excited and we are anticipating. And we are grateful and we are appreciative, and we start to elevate ourselves emotionally into that higher framework. And out of that, we pull it towards us. My husband's commenting he's pretty much happy all the time. It's true. He's like the nicest person I've ever met. He's way nicer than me. He's like the best person ever. For those of you that know him, you know this to be true. For those of you that don't know him, he is literally like the best human being I've ever met in my life. Be satisfied and look for the possibility, and look for the small wins, and look for the opportunities, and stop being so freaking hard on yourself. Not, as I said several times now, not like good enough is good enough, as in we don't want to aspire any higher, or we don't want to try anything else, or we're just complacent. No, not like that. In the way that we're not beating the shit out of ourselves every day for all the things that we're not, and all the things that we aren't doing, and all the things that aren't happening yet. Grace for yourself. Celebrate the small wins. When you're making your action plans for the new year, start with what you want to have done in January. Start with what you're going to do in January. And what are the action steps that you're going to take, and what behaviors do you need to embrace in order to get those things done? And if you have a particular goal, let's say it's a daily goal to work out, walk, drink water, whatever. If you fall off and you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just get back up and get back on track. You don't know how many clients I see, they tank their progress because they're doing well, and then they, have a bad day, and then it all falls apart after that. So many people. You have a bad day, okay. You had a bad day. Maybe you had 2 bad days. Whatever. Get over yourself, get back up, and keep going. My wish for you this week is that you would be kinder to yourself, is that you would set yourself reasonable and actionable things that you want to see happen in January. If you want extra support with that, you can get inside of our goals group, inside the community. It is free. I am also taking clients, executive, I take professional executive coaching clients and small business people, entrepreneurs as clients. So that's definitely a category that might not be for everyone that watches the show. So, however, we do just a coaching group for folks inside the free community, which, as I said, you can get to by going to unbreakablewisdom.com. Oh, this is good. Beth just said you can start a diet in the middle of a bag of potato chips. It's one of our favorite quotes. I like that. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want to embody here. Small wins, grace for ourselves, gratitude for where we are and how far we've come, and a happy heart, for where we're going and what we want to see happen. Yeah, that's my wish for you this week. More grace for yourself, more appreciation for your life, more gratitude for the things that you've created, and more happiness just because. Remember that how you feel is your emotional attraction is your emotional attraction point. So how I feel is how I resonate, and that's my set point. That's what I'm going to pull toward me. So the happier that you can get yourself, the more appreciative, the more joyful, the more in faith that everything always works out for you, the better circumstances you will attract for yourself. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys today. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you next Saturday morning. Take care.